first things first, always starting with a base for the eyeshadow. We're gonna have a list of everything that you can buy at Ulta, Sephora, pretty much, but Ulta, a lot of it you can find because it has drugstore brands too. What I typically use is the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. You can use the Urban Decay Primer Potion, any type of eyeshadow primer. Primer is gonna help for the eyeshadow to stick. Makes it last longer. It makes the intense, it makes the eyeshadow stand out and last. So I have also again a list for different eyeshadow palettes. There's gonna be two smaller eyeshadow palettes from Maybelline for a drugstore, and then for if you want to use something that has a little bit more better texture, consistency. I like using the Soft Glam palette. Has a lot of neutral browns, bronzy like champagnes, matte shimmer. So this is the palette that I typically will use on Mackenzie for dance, a lot of it. So this is the palette to go if you want to go high end. We're gonna use the color Burnt Orange in the crease. And again, I'm going to use a nice fluffy brush. I tend to use the Morphe brushes. You can buy at Ulta. They're $5 or $6 a brush, really cheap. This is the M441. This is what I call a transition color. We're not adding harsh lines, we're just defining that crease and adding a little bit more, adding depth in that area. So see, nice and soft. We're going to use the color Sienna. And this one I'm using a little bit more of a tapered brush. I don't want it as big and as fluffed out because we want it to be a little bit more precise in where this color goes. Just kind of placing it, going back and forth first. Next color we're going to do is the Cyprus Umber. This kind of espresso dark brown here. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. Little goes a long way, so I said go lightly, tap in lightly with a brush. Don't need much. Always tap the excess. We're gonna use a pencil brush. So Morphe makes one like this. This is a nice, really nice pencil brush. We're gonna use the darkest shade on here. It's black. Black is not scary. I know it's like, oh no, black. We're gonna use it very sparingly just to kind of add a little bit of depth. So the Noir at the end of the palette, ever so lightly, just touching the tip right here. And we're just gonna, same kind of shape, we're gonna go on the outer lash line, and then we're just gonna bring it slightly up until the crease. So this one you're gonna actually create more of a V shape and not blend it out so much. So here, about there. Actually keeping that V shade out. So right out here, we're gonna add a little bit of a shimmer tone to it. We're gonna use this color called Sultry. Here. Just on the outer corner. Just gonna make sure that kind of blends together. The next part gets tricky the first time you do it. You don't have to cut the crease, but I like to cut it. It makes a huge difference when you put the lighter color there. So I usually use a concealer. My favorite thing to use to cut the crease is the sharp Tarte Shape Tape. Looks like this. I usually just put it on the back of my hand. Use a concealer brush. Make sure you kind of coat both sides. We're just gonna put it on the area where we're gonna put that lighter color on the lid. So I don't drag it. I just usually kind of stamp it on. So on the lid, I'm gonna use this color Fairly. A nice flat brush. Do this one without the concealer. You see how it doesn't pick up the color as well. You can see it. There's not that big of a contrast, and it doesn't really give it a pop. Good, open, Miranda. See, so this eye, that eye, you can see the difference between with cutting the crease and without. Really up to you. If you want to spend a little bit of time and cut the crease using the concealer, you can. Otherwise, you can just do the color, the lighter color here, the way that I'm doing it. So, you ever don't want it to kind of leave it like that. We want to blend everything together. So your dark blends with your light blends with your dark. So you'll want to kind of go in that small brush again, the Morphe M506. I'm gonna go in with the Cyprus Umber and make sure that we melt this part together. So making sure that this blends the light into the dark. Fall out. Just take a brush, just sweep it. Sweep it. So this is why usually I always do eyeshadow first. That way if I have any cleanup, I can use a makeup wipe, go in and wipe it. I don't ever do my foundation first and eyeshadow, especially when I'm working with darker colors. And add a little of depth underneath the lash line. We're gonna go in with the Rustic color here. And I'm just gonna really smoke out the bottom lash line. Okay, and then for the inner corner, what I usually like to do is I like to use whatever highlighter shade that you have. So if you have a highlighter that you use to highlight, you can do the shade in the Benefit palette, or if you have just a highlighter, Benefit Cookie, they sell it individually. Whatever highlighter that you have. I have the Jeffree Star one. All right, and then we're gonna do the eyeliner. Eyeliner, you can use whatever eyeliner you want. I typically use a gel formula. You can use a liquid. I've always done gel most of my life. A little bit of background, I was in the makeup industry, worked for MAC MAC Cosmetics back in the day for about 10 years. And I do a lot of wedding and stuff on the side, so this is what I do as my second job. We're going to do eyeliner. I'm going to go in and do a nice winged liner. So what I do is with the gels, I coat both sides of my angled brush. And what we're going to do is going to start on the outside. Create the nice wing first. It doesn't have to be too crazy. bronzing and contouring. So very, very important as we do the contour. You want to make sure you just kind of go in light handedly.